There is a moment, deep in the night, when the world holds its breath. The clock on the wall ticks a little louder. The shadows in the corner of your eye seem to stretch and twist. This is the witching hour, a time steeped in a unique and potent dread, a fragile membrane between our world and something else. For centuries, this specific window of time has haunted our collective unconscious. But what is it about these quiet hours that awakens our deepest fears? The term witching hour typically refers to the period between 3 and 4 in the morning. Folklore tells us this is when the veil thins, when supernatural forces reach their peak potency. It's a time when witches, ghosts, and unseen entities are said to move with a freedom denied to them by the light of day. The origins of this belief are ancient, woven into the fabric of European superstition. During the Middle Ages, it was widely believed that witches convened under the cloak of absolute darkness to conduct their most powerful rituals. The Church amplified this fear, associating the hour with heightened demonic activity. In the terrifying era of the witch hunts, merely being awake or seen outdoors at this time was enough to cast a shadow of suspicion upon you. But why 3 o'clock in the morning specifically? The answer lies in a chilling piece of theological symbolism. 3 o'clock in the afternoon is the hour traditionally associated with the death of Jesus Christ, a moment of profound sacredness. 3 o'clock in the morning, then, was seen as its demonic inversion, a deliberate mockery of the Holy Trinity, making it a prime time for the forces of evil to manifest. Over generations, this belief was reinforced by countless stories whispered around hearths and campfires. Tales of phantom footsteps echoing in empty halls, of candles inexplicably extinguishing, of the unnerving, prickling sensation of being watched while the entire world sleeps. This chilling reputation has been a wellspring of inspiration for writers and filmmakers. In the landscape of modern horror, the slow, deliberate crawl of a clock's hands towards 3 a.m. is a universal signal that terror is imminent. Consider the suffocating dread in The Conjuring, where the witching hour serves as a formal announcement for the beginning of supernatural chaos. In literature, masters of the macabre like Edgar Allan Poe and Washington Irving set their most unsettling narratives in the dead of night, masterfully evoking the sense that the rational world is dissolving, making way for the extraordinary and the utterly unexplainable. Yet, beyond the realm of folklore and fiction, the witching hour has a foothold in science as well. Research shows that between 2 and 4 in the morning, the human body is at its most vulnerable. Our core temperature drops, our blood pressure dips, and we enter our deepest stage of REM sleep. This physiological ebb makes us more susceptible to vivid nightmares and the terrifying phenomenon of sleep paralysis, which could explain why so many people report profound feelings of unease or waking to a sense of a menacing presence in the room. When you combine this biological vulnerability with the mind's natural tendency to populate darkness with its fears, it's no wonder the witching hour maintains such a powerful and persistent grip on our psyche. From ancient superstition to modern biology, the witching hour remains a potent symbol. Whether you see it as a literal gateway to the supernatural or simply a product of our own internal clocks and imaginations, its mystery endures. It is a silent, weekly appointment with our deepest anxieties, a time that awakens our primal fears and profound curiosities while the rest of the world sleeps on. But sometimes, the silence of the night is broken. Imagine a quiet evening, the hum of daily life having faded into a soft, inaudible drone. And then, a sound, or perhaps just a feeling. A faint, insistent, and unmistakably otherworldly whisper that cuts through the stillness. This is the call from beyond, a phenomenon that has inspired awe, terror, and an insatiable curiosity throughout human history. But what is this call really? Is it a literal voice from another place, a cryptic message carried on the wind? Or is it something deeper, an internal summons to turn and face the unknown? Across cultures and millennia, stories of these calls have saturated our folklore. In ancient Greece, the Oracle of Delphi was said to channel the very voices of the gods, delivering prophecies that could raise or ruin entire empires. The Norse people revered the Volva, a seeress who could commune with the spirits of the dead and chart the course of destiny. In many indigenous traditions, dreams are considered a sacred bridge, a channel through which ancestors can reach out to offer guidance to the living. These diverse beliefs all point to a single shared human experience, the conviction that sometimes a message arrives from a realm we cannot see, urging us toward a purpose we do not yet understand. But the call from beyond is not always a supernatural event. In the field of psychology, it can be understood as a profound internal urge, what the pioneering psychoanalyst Carl Jung termed the call to individuation. This is the mysterious internal nudge that compels us to leave the comfort of the familiar and embark on a transformative journey of self-discovery. It is the very engine of mythology, the hero's journey. Think of Odysseus, compelled by fate to leave his home of Ithaca, of Luke Skywalker, feeling the irresistible pull of the Force, or Moana, hearing the ancient, undeniable call of the ocean. These epic stories resonate so deeply because they mirror our own moments of profound change, those times when the world as we know it suddenly seems too small, and an unseen horizon beckons us forward. And yet, for those who believe they have received a genuine message from the other side, the experience is unshakably real. Consider the countless heartfelt accounts of people sensing the presence of a lost loved one. It might be the sudden, inexplicable scent of their perfume, the sound of their name whispered in an empty room, or a moment of clear, unambiguous guidance delivered in a dream. Modern science has even begun to explore these occurrences. Research in thanatology, the study of death and dying, reveals that up to 60% of widows and widowers report sensing or even communicating with their deceased partners. While neurologists suggest the grieving brain, desperate for comfort, may be interpreting subtle environmental cues as signs from beyond, for those who experience it, these moments are genuine, undeniable encounters, impossible to explain away with science alone. The call from beyond, then, is a universal motif, one that walks the razor's edge between the mystical and the psychological. It can arrive as a literal voice, a symbolic dream, or a sudden, gut-level intuition that you simply cannot ignore. It is the catalyst that propels us into the unknown, forcing us to confront our fears, embrace change, and seek meaning in the great, silent mysteries that surround us. So, the next time you feel a gentle, inexplicable tug at the edges of your awareness, listen closely. You might just be hearing your own call from beyond. But what happens when that call is not an invitation, but a warning? When the feeling of being watched becomes the certainty of being followed? In countless tales and chilling real-world accounts, the experience of being relentlessly pursued by an unknown force is a recurring nightmare, one that dissolves the boundary between the natural and the supernatural. Whether it's a mysterious entity stalking a lone traveler through a darkened forest, or a chilling presence tracking explorers across a frozen wasteland, the primal fear of being hunted is as old as storytelling itself. Consider the classic unsolved mystery of the Dyatlov Pass incident. In 1959, 9 experienced hikers vanished in the Ural Mountains of Russia, only to be found dead under the most bizarre and terrifying circumstances. Their tent was discovered slashed open from the inside, as if they were desperately trying to escape something already in there with them. Their bodies were found scattered across the snow, some with inexplicable, crushing internal injuries, yet with no external signs of a struggle. For decades, theories have ranged from an avalanche to secret military experiments. But many are drawn to a more terrifying conclusion, that something unnatural and utterly relentless pursued the group that night. The fact that some had fled without shoes or proper clothing into sub-zero temperatures suggests a panic so absolute that it overrode all rational thought, a terror of something right behind them. This theme of relentless pursuit is a cornerstone of folklore worldwide. In Native American legends, there is the Wendigo, a malevolent, cannibalistic spirit said to stalk the vast, lonely forests of the northern United States and Canada. The Wendigo is driven by an insatiable hunger, and it is said to relentlessly chase those who are lost or alone in the woods. Those who claim to have encountered it describe hearing footsteps that perfectly echo their own, seeing fleeting, impossibly fast shadows darting between the trees, or feeling an unshakable, oppressive sense of being watched. The horror lies not just in the creature itself, but in the dreadful knowledge that it will not stop, that no distance is great enough, no barrier strong enough to deter it. Unnatural phenomena often accompany these relentless hunts.
Take the infamous Skinwalker Ranch in Utah, a place that has become a veritable hotspot for high strangeness and unexplained activity. For decades, ranchers, residents, and investigators have reported being followed by shadowy figures, seeing strange, silent lights dart across the sky, and experiencing poltergeist-like events inside their homes. Livestock are found bizarrely mutilated with what appears to be surgical precision. Electronic equipment inexplicably fails the moment these phenomena are near. Here, the pursuit is not merely physical, it is psychological. People describe a kind of torment, as if an unseen intelligence is toying with them, mocking them, always one step ahead. Even in our modern technological age, these experiences persist. Reports flood in from hikers whose GPS devices suddenly malfunction the moment they feel they are being followed. In the dense, silent woods of Japan's Aokigahara forest, visitors often recount hearing footsteps crunching on the leaves just behind them, only to turn and find nothing there. Some even capture fleeting, unexplainable shapes on camera. Proof, they say, that the relentless pursuer is not bound by the laws of our world. Ultimately, the terror of relentless pursuit and unnatural phenomena lies in their sheer persistence and their violation of reason. Whether rooted in ancient myth or documented in modern reports, these stories serve as a chilling reminder of how thin the veil might be between our world and something far, far stranger, something that just might be following, patiently, right out of sight. As the sun disappears below the horizon and darkness claims the world, a profound transformation occurs. Night is not merely the absence of light, it is a stage upon which the familiar world is redrawn. Shadows deepen, obscuring what we know and revealing the unexpected. In these quiet hours, our senses sharpen, and the ordinary takes on an aura of mystery.
It is a time when we are forced to confront what hides in the shadows, and what truths, so often overlooked in the light of day, emerge only under the cover of darkness. First, consider the literal shadows cast by the moon and the lonely glow of a street lamp. Unlike the soft, familiar shadows of midday, nighttime shadows are stark, elongated, and haunting. They can transform a familiar tree into a grasping silhouette, or the corner of a room into a bottomless void. These visual distortions are not just artistic, they fundamentally alter how we perceive our environment. For nocturnal animals, this interplay of shadow and light is the key to survival. It offers both camouflage from predators and the perfect cover for the hunt. An owl uses the shifting darkness to remain unseen as it glides silently toward its prey, while a mouse darts from one patch of black to the next, using the shadows as a lifeline. But the shadows of the night are not only physical, they are deeply psychological. In the absence of clear visual information, our minds rush to fill in the blanks, and they often do so with our deepest fears. This phenomenon is known as pareidolia, our innate tendency to perceive meaningful patterns and images in random stimuli. How many of us have stared into the darkness of a bedroom and seen a face in the folds of a curtain, or a menacing shape lurking just outside the window? Our brains are hardwired for pattern recognition, a survival instinct from a time when seeing a predator in the shadows could mean the difference between life and death. At night, with our vision compromised, this instinct goes into overdrive. And yet, the night is also a time of profound revelation,
a blank canvas for introspection and discovery. As the world grows quiet and the distractions of the day fall away, many people find their thoughts become sharper, their insights deeper. It is no coincidence that some of history's greatest ideas and works of art were conceived in the silent solitude of the night. The poet Emily Dickinson wrote by lamplight, her revolutionary words shaped by the quiet intimacy of her room. Astronomers, too, depend on the profound clarity of the night sky to unlock the secrets of the cosmos. Without the blinding glare of the sun, the stars, planets, and distant galaxies emerge with breathtaking clarity, revealing the true, staggering vastness of our universe. In many cultures, the night is seen as a sacred time for reflection and connection with the divine. The ancient Egyptians believed that each night the sun god Ra journeyed through the underworld, battling the forces of darkness before being reborn at dawn. In our modern world, the symbolism of night often represents a journey through uncertainty toward enlightenment. The old saying, "It's always darkest before the dawn," perfectly captures this sense of hope and revelation that can only be found after navigating the shadows. So, as we move through the night, its shadows become both a veil and a window. They can conceal dangers, both real and imagined, but they also invite us to look more closely, to question our assumptions, and to seek a deeper understanding. In the eternal dance of darkness and light, we find not just fear, but possibility, a quiet reminder that some of the greatest truths are visible only when the rest of the world is asleep. But what happens after the encounter with the unknown is over? What is left in the aftermath? The period following a mysterious or traumatic event is often as unsettling as the incident itself. In the days and weeks that follow, a heavy silence can descend upon a place, as if nature itself is holding its breath. Residents who were once eager to share their incredible stories may suddenly grow quiet, their doors and their minds closing to outsiders. Some refuse to speak of it at all, even to their closest friends.
Others simply pack their bags and move away, hoping that physical distance can erase a psychological scar. Local authorities, who may have initially been overwhelmed with inquiries, often begin to deflect and dissemble. Official statements become vague, infrequent, and contradictory. Crucial records about the event have a strange way of disappearing from public archives. It can feel as if some unseen hand or some powerful entity is deliberately trying to erase the incident from collective memory. Journalists who attempt to dig deeper find their sources have gone cold, their calls unanswered. Some have even reported receiving anonymous warnings, cryptic messages urging them to let the past lie undisturbed. Perhaps the strangest part of the aftermath is the physical vanishing of evidence. The site where everything unfolded, once a flurry of activity with police tape and news vans, is quietly cordoned off. Then, within weeks, all visible traces of the event are systematically removed. Trees that were marked as part of an investigation are suddenly cut down. Surveillance footage from nearby businesses goes missing. Even a library's newspaper archives for those critical days might be reported as misplaced. The message, though unspoken, is crystal clear. Whatever happened here was not meant to be remembered. But why such secrecy? For many, the answer is a chilling and implicit warning. In the vacuum of information, whispers and rumors take root. Stories of a government cover-up, a lingering curse, or something far more sinister begin to circulate. A belief may take hold that even discussing the event could invite the same terrible fate upon you. Families warn their children never to go near the spot. Urban legends flourish, telling tales of people who vanished after asking too many questions, or of strange lights that reappear in the sky on the anniversary of the event. In the absence of facts, the human imagination fills the void with its most potent fears. The community's collective silence becomes a kind of unspoken pact, a tacit agreement to look the other way, to forget what was seen and heard. Yet, beneath this placid surface, a deep-seated anxiety lingers. The vanishing evidence and the wall of silence act as a powerful warning to both locals and outsiders.
some mysteries are better left unsolved. And as the years pass, the legend only grows, becoming a cautionary tale about the profound dangers of prying too deeply into the unknown. In the end, the aftermath is not just about what disappeared, but about the warning it leaves behind. It's a warning that echoes through a town for generations, a quiet but persistent reminder that sometimes the most unsettling truths are the ones no one ever dares to speak aloud.